You wake up, your tongue feels like sandpaper, your lips are cracked, your throat feels sticky, and you wonder, is this just dehydration or is your body trying to whisper something deeper? Stay with me because by the end of this video, you'll understand what most people completely miss about morning dry mouth and lips. And later, you'll see why ignoring it for months can quietly affect your energy, sleep, and even how you age. First, a quick safety note. This is educational lifestyle information, not a diagnosis. And if symptoms are severe, persistent, or painful, it's always wise to speak with a qualified healthcare professional. Now, here's what's really happening. During sleep, your body shifts into repair mode. Saliva production naturally slows down, breathing patterns change, and your nervous system cycles between deep and light sleep. According to the NIH and Mayo Clinic, saliva is not just spit. It's a protective fluid packed with enzymes, minerals, and immune-supporting compounds that keep your mouth tissues hydrated and balanced. Think of saliva as your mouth's overnight security team. When production drops too low, the environment dries out. But here's the twist. Dry mouth in the morning is often less about how much water you drank and more about how you slept. In a moment, I'll explain why mouth breathing is one of the biggest hidden triggers. And later, you'll understand how stress hormones silently play a role. Many people make the mistake of chugging water right before bed, thinking it solves everything. Instead, that often disrupts sleep with bathroom trips while doing nothing about the root cause. Others blame the weather or aging. But the Cleveland Clinic and NHS both note that dry mouth can be linked to nighttime mouth breathing, certain medications, high stress levels, alcohol intake, or even late heavy meals that affect breathing patterns. When you breathe through your mouth all night, moisture evaporates continuously. It's like leaving a window open in winter. The warm air escapes. Your lips dry out first. Your tongue follows. Your throat feels tight. And if this becomes a pattern, your sleep quality may quietly decline because nasal breathing is strongly associated with better oxygen balance and calmer nervous system activity as supported by research indexed on PubMed. Now here's something most people don't realize. Stress changes saliva. Elevated cortisol, especially in the evening, can reduce saliva flow and alter its composition. So if you go to bed scrolling your phone, worrying, or working late, your nervous system may still be in alert mode. Later in this video, I'll show you simple evening habits that can shift what's happening inside your body overnight that pattern naturally. And in the next section, we'll uncover why your breathing, not your water bottle, might be the real starting point. Now, let's talk about the hidden habit that changes everything, how you breathe at night. Most people assume breathing is automatic and therefore harmless. But the way you breathe while sleeping can dramatically influence moisture levels in your mouth. When you breathe through your nose, the air is filtered, warmed, and humidified before it reaches your lungs. The nasal passages act like a natural climate control system. According to the Cleveland Clinic and Mayo Clinic, nasal breathing helps maintain better airway resistance and supports normal saliva balance, while mouth breathing bypasses that protective process entirely. In a moment, I'll explain why this matters for your lips and tongue specifically. And later, you'll see how small nighttime habits can either worsen or improve this pattern. When your mouth stays open during sleep, air moves continuously across the soft tissues inside. Think of it like a gentle fan blowing over a wet surface for hours. Evaporation happens steadily. The NHS notes that mouth breathing is one of the most common contributors to waking with dry mouth, especially in people who snore or have mild nasal congestion. Even subtle blockage from allergies, a deviated septum, or seasonal dryness can push your body to switch from nasal to mouth breathing without you realizing it. According to research indexed in PubMed, nasal breathing supports nitric oxide production in the sinuses, which plays a role in airway regulation and oxygen exchange. When you bypass the nose, you also bypass that regulatory benefit. Later, you'll understand why this can influence sleep quality beyond just dryness. Here's the mistake many people make. They focus only on drinking more water. Hydration matters, yes. And the NIH confirms that dehydration can reduce saliva flow. But if the primary issue is mechanical airflow through the mouth, for 6 to 8 hours, extra water alone won't fully solve it. Another common mistake is sleeping flat on the back without addressing snoring or nasal congestion. Back sleeping can encourage the jaw to relax open, increasing airflow through the mouth. Instead, gentle lifestyle adjustments such as improving nasal hygiene, managing evening allergens, maintaining a consistent sleep schedule, and reducing alcohol intake before bed may help support more stable breathing patterns. The CDC also notes that alcohol can relax throat muscles and worsen snoring, which indirectly increases mouth breathing overnight. Stress adds another layer. Elevated evening stress can tighten facial and jaw muscles during the day, yet paradoxically lead to jaw dropping open during deeper sleep phases. Harvard Health discusses how stress influences breathing patterns and sleep architecture. If your nervous system stays activated late into the evening through screen exposure, heavy mental stimulation, or irregular routines, your breathing may become more erratic. In a moment, you'll see why calming the nervous system before bed can indirectly improve saliva balance. And next, we'll explore how hormones and internal chemistry quietly influence this morning dryness in ways most people never consider. Now let's go deeper into something most people never connect to dry mouth and lips: your internal chemistry and hormones. Because this isn't just about air moving through your mouth, it's also about what your nervous system and endocrine system are doing while you sleep. During the night, your body cycles through different stages of mouth breathing versus nasal breathing explained sleep. And with each cycle, hormones shift. Cortisol, often called the stress hormone, follows a natural rhythm. According to the NIH, cortisol is typically lowest late in the evening and begins rising in the early morning hours to help you wake up. But here's the issue. When stress is high or sleep is irregular, that rhythm can become disrupted. In a moment, I'll explain how that affects saliva directly. And later, you'll see why your evening habits may matter more than your morning routine. Saliva production is regulated by the autonomic nervous system, which includes the sympathetic fight-or-flight response and the parasympathetic rest and digest response. The Mayo Clinic and Cleveland Clinic both explain that saliva flow increases when the body is in a relaxed state and decreases under stress. Think of it like a faucet connected to your nervous system. When you're calm, the faucet flows smoothly. When you're tense, the valve tightens. If you go to bed mentally wired, scrolling, worrying, working late, your sympathetic system may stay slightly activated. Even if you fall asleep, your body may not fully enter a deep parasympathetic repair mode. That subtle activation can reduce saliva output throughout the night. Later, you'll understand why this also affects your lips, not just your mouth. There's another layer: blood sugar regulation. According to the CDC and research available through PubMed, fluctuations in blood glucose levels can influence thirst perception and fluid balance. Eating large, heavy, or high sugar meals close to bedtime can cause shifts in insulin and glucose overnight. When blood sugar rises and falls quickly, your body may increase fluid loss or trigger subtle dehydration signals. Many people make the mistake of having late-night snacks, desserts, or alcohol, thinking it helps them relax. But alcohol, as noted by the NHS, not only relaxes throat muscles, but also has a dehydrating effect and can suppress normal saliva production. What to do instead? Focus on balanced evening meals, earlier dinner timing, and limiting alcohol close to bedtime. Small shifts, big difference. Hormonal transitions across life stages can also play a role. Harvard Health notes that hormonal changes, particularly during aging, can influence saliva production. That doesn't mean dryness is inevitable. It means the system becomes more sensitive to stress, sleep quality, hydration patterns, and medications. And here's something people overlook. Many common medications list dry mouth as a side effect, as documented by the NIH and Mayo Clinic. Antihistamines, certain blood pressure medications, and antidepressants are examples. This doesn't mean stop anything on your own. It means awareness matters. So when you wake up dry, it may not be random. It could be your stress rhythm, your blood sugar swings, your medication profile, or your evening routine quietly interacting. And in the next section, you'll see how simple daily habits, movement, light exposure, and hydration timing can support your body's natural balance overnight. Now let's shift to something practical, your daily habits. Because what you do between waking up and going to bed quietly programs what happens in your mouth overnight. Many people think morning dry mouth starts at night, but often the pattern begins 12 to 16 hours earlier. According to the CDC and NIH, hydration is not just about how much water you drink, but how consistently fluids are spaced throughout the day. When you underhydrate during busy hours and then try to catch up in the evening, your body doesn't store that extra water stress, cortisol, and saliva production efficiently. In a moment, I'll explain why timing matters more than volume. And later, you'll see how movement and light exposure influence this more than most people realize. Your body maintains fluid balance through a delicate system involving electrolytes, kidney function, and hormones like vasopressin, which regulates water retention. Research referenced through PubMed shows that vasopressin levels naturally rise at night to reduce urine production so you can sleep without constant awakenings. But if you're mildly dehydrated during the day, your body may already be compensating. That compensation can subtly reduce available moisture for saliva production. Think of your hydration system like a savings account. If you barely deposit during the day, there's not much reserve overnight. A common mistake people make is relying heavily on caffeinated drinks. The Cleveland Clinic notes that caffeine can have mild diuretic effects in some individuals and may contribute to fluid imbalance when consumed in high amounts without adequate water. What to do instead? Spread water intake evenly, pair caffeine with water, and pay attention to urine color as a general hydration cue. Movement also plays a surprising role. Regular physical activity supports circulation and autonomic nervous system balance. Harvard Health explains that moderate daily movement improves sleep quality and supports parasympathetic activation at night. Better sleep architecture often means more stable breathing patterns and more balanced saliva production. But here's the mistake. Intense exercise too close to bedtime can temporarily elevate cortisol and core body temperature, potentially disrupting sleep onset. Instead, aim for earlier workouts or gentle evening stretching to calm the system. Later, you'll understand why this nervous system balance directly affects overnight moisture. Light exposure is another overlooked factor. The NIH and sleep research published on PubMed highlight how morning sunlight helps regulate circadian rhythm. When your internal clock is aligned, hormone release, including cortisol and melatonin, follows a healthier pattern. If you spend most of your day indoors under artificial light and then expose yourself to bright screens at night, your circadian signals can become confused. That confusion may indirectly affect saliva regulation by altering stress hormones and sleep depth. Many people make the mistake of using phones in bed, stimulating the brain when it should be winding down. What to do instead? Seek natural light within an hour of waking and reduce bright screen exposure before bed. So dry mouth in the morning may reflect an entire day's pattern, not just a nighttime issue. And next, we'll uncover the most common lifestyle mistakes that silently worsen this problem and the smarter alternatives that support your body's natural balance. Now let's talk about the common mistakes that quietly make morning dry mouth and lips worse Even when people believe they are doing everything right, the first mistake is assuming that more is always better. More lip balm, more water at night, more humidifier mist. While each of these can be helpful in the right context, they don't address the underlying patterns. According to the Mayo Clinic and Cleveland Clinic, persistent dry mouth is often multifactorial, meaning it involves breathing patterns, medications, stress levels, hydration habits, and environmental factors all interacting together. In a moment, I'll explain why overusing certain products can actually backfire. And later, you'll see why your bedroom environment may be influencing this more than you think. Let's start with lip care. Many people apply heavy lip products repeatedly throughout the day, but ignore internal hydration and airflow issues. Some lip balms create a temporary seal, but if the air in your bedroom is very dry, especially during winter heating or summer air conditioning, moisture continues to evaporate from exposed hydration mistakes. Most people make tissues. The NHS notes that low indoor humidity can contribute to dryness of the skin, lips, and airways. A humidifier can help in dry climates, but here's the mistake: setting it too high without proper cleaning. The CDC warns that poorly maintained humidifiers can disperse irritants or microbes into the air, which may worsen nasal congestion and indirectly increase mouth breathing. What to do instead? Maintain moderate humidity and clean devices regularly. Another overlooked mistake is ignoring nasal health. Mild chronic nasal congestion, often from allergies or environmental irritants, pushes people toward mouth breathing without them realizing it. According to Harvard Health, allergic inflammation can narrow nasal passages and disrupt normal airflow. Many individuals treat only the symptom of dry mouth rather than addressing nighttime congestion triggers, like dust, pet dander, or late-night exposure to irritants. Simple lifestyle adjustments such as washing bedding regularly and improving bedroom air quality can support easier nasal breathing. Later, you'll understand how even sleep position influences this dynamic. Medication use is another factor people underestimate. The NIH and Mayo Clinic both list dry mouth as a common side effect of numerous medications, including antihistamines, certain blood pressure medications, muscle relaxants, and some antidepressants. This does not mean stopping medication, but it does mean awareness matters. If dryness started after a medication change, discussing it with a healthcare professional may help identify adjustments or supportive strategies. Then there's alcohol and late-night snacking. The Cleveland Clinic explains that alcohol reduces saliva production and relaxes throat muscles, increasing the likelihood of mouth breathing. High-sodium snacks before bed can also increase thirst and fluid shifts overnight. The mistake is an occasional indulgence. It's making it a nightly routine. All of these small patterns compound over time. Dry mouth in the morning is rarely random. It's usually the result of subtle habits repeating night after night. And in the final section, you'll see how to bring everything together into a simple, balanced evening routine that supports your body naturally and safely.